Steelers in a frenzy. Firing. Touchdown, Alabama.
SEC champions, Alabama, Crimson Tide.
We talked about Alabama. Step back three. Money. And the Alabama Crimson Tide will roll into the Final Four.
Roll Tide!
Roll Tide and welcome to Tide TV This Week. I'm Roger Huber, joined by Lillian Everest. And Lillian, it's great to have you back on the show this week. Roll Tide.
Thanks, Roger. Roll Tide. I'm excited to be back, especially after an Alabama win.
It was homecoming week on the campus of the University of Alabama this past week, and the exclamation point on the homecoming festivities was the Crimson Tide's matchup with Missouri.
Yeah, and going into Saturday's game, Alabama had won 20 in a row on homecoming.
Graham Nicholson got the scoring going for the Crimson Tide early in the game as he would knock down 2 field goals. The first one was a season best, 47-yarder, and the other from 39 yards out to help Alabama build up a 6-0 lead. After an interception and a 31-yard return by Malachi Moore, it was Jalen Milroe finding Emmanuel Henderson Jr. 28 yards downfield. Very next play, Jam Miller jams it to the end zone for the score. The only touchdown of the first half gave Alabama the 13-0 lead at the break.
The Crimson Tide opened the third quarter with another scoring drive, this one capped off by a 9-yard rushing touchdown by Jalen Milroe to make it 20-0 Alabama. After a great diving interception from Quay Rousseau, Jan Miller scored his second touchdown of the game to make it 27-0 Crimson Tide. On Alabama's first drive of the fourth quarter, it was Justice Haynes' turn to get in the end zone. After hitting the hole, Haynes lowered his shoulder and trucked the Missouri defender. He then cut it back to the near sideline and he was gone 35 yards to the house. The Tide was rolling at 34-0.
Mizzou had one last chance to wipe the goose egg off the scoreboard. The Tigers went 88 yards in 14 plays and found themselves 4th and goal from the 1, but the Tigers could not punch it in. The Alabama defense stood tall, protecting the shutout as Alabama dominated 17th-ranked Missouri on homecoming with a 34-0 win.
Every win is important, and liked the way the guys prepared all week long and got a chance to give them a chance to go out there and have success. Didn't get a lot of points right away, but kept applying pressure in different ways once we got the field position flipped, especially I think after the interception. The momentum swinging. So, some good team football there. 3 takeaways as I see it, and none as far as giving up. So, there's always areas we can correct and be better. We got to have some better awareness with some things, just, living in the gray area on some stuff, and it's hurting us just from really, taking a big step. And I feel like we're just right on the edge. And so we'll get a chance to hash through those areas, those gray areas that a lot of times lead to penalties or just misexecution. It just can't be that every little thing that is new or happens to us is something we have to learn, a hard lesson from. And it might be just execution of a play. I'm not even talking about penalties all the time.
Quarterback Jalen Milroe accounted for 265 of the Tide's 458 total yards on offense, passing for 215 yards through the air to go along with 50 yards on the ground and a rushing score. Justice Haynes led the Tide in rushing with 79 yards on 8 attempts and a touchdown, while Jam Miller added 2 rushing touchdowns for 48 yards on 11 carries. Jeremy Bernard was Alabama's leading receiver with 82 yards on 5 catches.
Crimson Tide defense held the Tigers to a total of 239 yards of total offense and forced 3 interceptions. It marked the Crimson Tide's first SEC shutout since 2020, a 41-0 win over Mississippi State. And for his efforts in the win, offensive lineman Tyler Booker was named the SEC Co-Offensive Lineman of the Week. He recorded a team-high 10 knockdown blocks from his left guard position and earned a team-best 97% grade from the Alabama coaching staff.
The Crimson Tide have this week off for their second bye of the season, but we have a Game Time and Channel 4 next week. Alabama and LSU will square off in Baton Rouge, and yes, it will be a night game in Tiger Stadium. The Tide and the Tigers will have the primetime matchup on ABC with a 6:30 kickoff.
Really can't wait for that matchup. It's going to be a great one in Baton Rouge, and there's going to be a lot on the line for both teams.
It definitely will, Roger. And as we said earlier, it was homecoming this past week here at Alabama, and there were a lot of great festivities going on here on campus. From the pep rally, the bonfire, the drone show, parade, and even the game, it was a great weekend.
Yes, it was, and we have a great recap of all of that. Let's go all access for the Tide's 2024 homecoming.
Stand and deliver a rolling Tide for the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Welcome to the 2024 Pep Rally.
It is a great privilege. Once you are a member of this great crimson and white family, you are family forever. Mr. Sean Alexander.
Roll Tide.
The head coach of the Crimson Tide, Coach Kalen DeBoer.
Roll Tide. I want to first talk about you all and how in 9 months, okay, I've seen that we have the best fans in college football here at Alabama. I got some guys that I want to make sure I get a chance to introduce. Our captains are here, and I'd like them to start making their way up here. These guys bleed crimson, and I mean that.
Make sure you at the game tomorrow. Let's rock out. Let's be loud. Roll Tide.
Super grateful to be a part of this university and this team. Super grateful for all the fans. Can't wait to see y'all tomorrow. Roll Tide. Hey, I love and appreciate y'all, and I can't wait to hear y'all get loud tomorrow. Let me get a roll Tide. Roll.
I'm so honored, blessed to wear the script today. To be able to play the quarterback position at this great university. I gotta emphasize it enough, man. The great fans that we have here is something special. We play for you guys, we play for the state of Alabama. I'm forever grateful to be able to wear the script today and roll Tide, roll.
We are the University of Alabama. We want to be great in whatever we do, and we want to be great for you year in and year out, and you give us the opportunity to do so. Roll Tide.
Tide TV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, visit your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
Roll Tide, roll! The Alabama Crimson Tide. Cunningham again. Shot good, and she's fouled. There she goes, and there's Barker. Timmons there. Setting her team up.
Possibly the dagger for Alabama. Right to the rim. Got it. Kicks. Nye, right corner three. She hits it. Nye steals the inbounds. Left side to Timmons. Layup good. It's a 2-point game.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. It was a great win for the Alabama football team for homecoming. It was the Tide's 21st homecoming victory in a row.
Let's go all access for the first homecoming win on Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
You already know what we about to do. Sometimes you got to understand to pick up when I'm putting down. You got to get low.
Of course, the great challenge of playing here in Tuscaloosa in front of these fans. You spend enough time here in T-Town at the football facility and you will hear the constant chorus of the standard, of playing to the standard.
All about us. Same great energy throughout the whole game. 60 minutes of effort, great pride, commitment, discipline, all that. All right? All about us, bro. Not one play at a time, be the best version of yourself. Requirement rush, I bet. Be absolute best today. Everybody else. We gonna do what we do.
Flea flicker on the second play, and ripped down is Brady Cook. That was Campbell coming in right away. The flea flicker stopped nothing from Bama's defense. 2nd and 6 as K-Law's trying to turn the corner, and he does, and that is the speed of Kendrick Law. This will be a 47-yard attempt for Nicholson. And that was well driven, well struck, and right on through. So Bama gets the ball and comes right down the field and puts 3 on the board. Second and 12, complete. That is Jeremy Bernard again as he's down to the 12-yard line. A good ball from Jalen Milroe. This from 39. And oh so easy for Nicholson. His first pass attempt of the day, and it is intercepted. Malachi Moore. Moore on the return. Malachi Moore picks off Drew Pine. Keep it simple. Could be a free play here as he goes downfield, and he connects with Henderson inside the 5.
Jam Miller in the backfield to the left of Milroe. They'll bring Law in motion left side. The handoff up to Miller, and he will walk into the end zone for an Alabama touchdown.
Go out there, next play. All right, next play, leave it all on the football field. You got me? Here we go. Win on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Second and 8. Steps up in the pocket. This is where he's so dangerous, splitting defenders, gliding his way downfield, picks up a little bit of a shade block from the tight end and scoots out of bounds. And if you blink and you give him green grass, 32 yards later, Jalen Milroe.
Luther Burden, play action. Pine looking for Burden down the left side. It's going to be picked off. Bray Hubbard with the interception, and the Tide turns away the Tigers again, taking it away.
Second and 7. Pine pressured, and he's picked off for a 3rd time. Way Rousseau this time. Drew Pine has thrown 3 interceptions. Jam Miller with a stiff arm to the edge and diving for the pylon. Touchdown, Alabama.
To the left of Milroe in the pistol. Gets the snap. Jalen looking, firing on the slant. Catch is made. Williams makes one man miss. The second one, though, got him by the ankles and brings him down.
Oh, Justice Haynes. That is a well-earned touchdown. Just delivering it. 4th and goal. Oh, tackled for a loss is Carroll. They brought the starters back in to secure the shutout, and Kane Wanick loves it. Look at how fired up that defensive coordinator is in a game like this.
The Tide does indeed with a 34-0 victory over 17th ranked Missouri, 15th ranked Alabama with the win. Improves on the year to 6-2, now 3-2 in Southeastern Conference.
Tide TV This Week is presented by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide, the University of Alabama, where legends are made.
It is just as loud here at Coleman Coliseum tonight.
I thought the whole crowd was unbelievable. I wouldn't miss anything you could possibly be at this season because it's going to be a special season.
Alabama fans at Coleman Coliseum have been so good all year long.
What a scene at Coleman Coliseum.
Let's fill Coleman every time we get a chance to fill Coleman.
What an electric crowd here.
Let's just support this team because it's not that often that you get to put a team of this caliber together.
Welcome back. The Alabama football team has a bye week coming up this week. The Crimson Tide will return to action next week to take on the LSU Tigers in Baton Rouge.
As they prepare out on the practice field, our Christopher England caught up with one of the stars for this year's Crimson Tide team.
And he joins us now from the Tide's indoor practice facility for this week's First Off the Field.
I'm Christopher England with TideTV, joined by tight end Robbie Oots from the Alabama football team. Fresh off the practice field, Robbie, just how's practice? What's the vibe out there after that big win over Missouri?
You know, the vibe's great out there. We had a great physical practice today. You know, we're kind of taking advantage of this bye week, kind of get healed up a little bit. Everybody's dealing with a little bit of something at this point in the season. But, you know, just to have a couple days to kind of slow down and self-reflect, you know, that's very important for us.
Coming off the Tennessee game, how big was that, just not only for like your confidence but for momentum to get a shutout win against a quality top 25 SEC team like Missouri?
Very important. You know, like you said, we came off a tough loss, and you know, as any football team, losing a rivalry game like that, it's, you know, a little bit discouraging. But we were able to kind of rally the troops, get back together, get focused, and go out there and kind of show what we're capable of, you know, if we all just lock in and do our role. So, you know, very important for the momentum going forward.
For the offense in that game against Missouri, you had 271 rushing yards. That's the most rushing yards this season since week 1 against Western Kentucky. You're a guy that's a big part of that, throwing some blocks there at the tight end position. Just kind of talk about that. Was that more of a scheme thing, or is this running attack really starting to gel a little bit for this offense?
I really think it's starting to gel a little bit. I think if we got, all 7 guys, linemen, tight ends, on the same page, we can do that every week. We're a physical group, very capable, very talented. I think this is something that we can see moving forward, just kind of getting dirty, grounding and pounding.
Next week, it's going to be LSU next Saturday night in Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. How can the offense kind of deal with that going into LSU? Because it's going to be a night game, it's going to be rowdy. Just how much of an effect does that have on the offense?
Oh, I mean, it has a huge effect. There's no denying that. The SEC is just, going on the road. It's going to be loud. It's going to be a hostile environment. We got to be able to go on silent count. We got to be able to communicate, without actually hearing each other. And that just comes through preparation, being on the same page, getting extra reps after practice, working on our silent count, working on our timing and our routes. Everybody's on the same page. We just got to get it tightened up because it's going to be tough.
Alabama and LSU both has 2 losses, to kind of keep your playoff hopes alive and everything you want to accomplish. This is a big game. Is that something you think about, or you just block kind of all that out and just take care of what you do on the field, and then that will take care of all that?
Like Coach DeBoer preaches, 1-0 mentality. You can't worry about the rest of that stuff. Just take care of what's in front of you, take care of the present, and everything else will set itself up.
I appreciate it, Robbie. Good luck next Saturday. Enjoy the bye weekend. You got big plans for the bye weekend?
Not really, just staying home, resting up.
Man, get rested up. It's going to be a big one next Saturday night at Tiger Stadium in LSU. For Robbie Oots, I'm Christopher England reporting from the Hank Chris Indoor Practice Facility.
Roll Tide, roll! The Alabama Crimson Tide. Cunningham again. Shot good, and she's fouled. There she goes, and there's Barker. Timmons there. Setting her team up.
Possibly the dagger for Alabama. Right to the rim. Got it. Kicks, Nye, right corner, 3. She hits it. Nye steals the inbounds. Left side to Timmons. Layup good. It's a 2-point game.
Welcome back to Tide TV. I'm Lillian Everest, he's Roger Hoover, and this is Tide TV This Week. And Roger, we're in the middle of football season, and it's hard to believe, but basketball is here.
Yeah, it's about to get really busy around here, but that's a good thing, because that means we'll get to see the second-ranked Alabama men's basketball team in action.
Nate Oates and the Tide already had a big exhibition win over Wake Forest under their belt. And on Monday, the Tide competed in their final tune-up before the season, a charity exhibition matchup against Memphis and Huntsville.
The Crimson Tide never trailed against the Tigers. Cliff Amori put the Crimson Tide up 12 on a dunk with the assist from Darian Reed to make it 20-8. Alabama continued to build its lead. Mark Sears drains a three-pointer to give Alabama the 20-point lead at half, 49-29.
Alabama led by 21 in the second half on 2 separate occasions. The first was on another dunk by Big Clifford with the assist from LeBaron Philon, and the other was on this 3-point shot from Houston Millette. Houston, no problem there, as that tray made it 68-47 Alabama. The Tide withstood a late push by the Tigers as Alabama held on for the 96-88 win. Alabama had 8 different players score in the game, including 6 that scored in double figures. Mark Sears led the way for the Tide with 20 points on 3 of 5 shooting from beyond the arc.
LeBaron Philon added 17 points to go along with 5 rebounds and 7 assists. Mo Diabate scored 11 and had 8 rebounds, while Houston Millette and Jaron Stevenson each adding 11 points as well.
Big Cliff finished with a double-double as he had 10 points with 10 rebounds. Alabama opens the season next Monday in Coleman Coliseum with a doubleheader with the women's team. The men will take on UNC Asheville at 8 o'clock, while the women host New Orleans starting at 5.
Now, speaking of the Crimson Tide women's team, Christy Curry's squad held their lone exhibition game of the season on Wednesday night at Coleman against Columbus State.
It was the first ever meeting between Alabama and Columbus State. Sarah Ashley Barker started off hot, scoring the first 7 points of the game, but the Cougars responded with an 11-0 run to take a 19-17 lead after the first period. Following a back-and-forth second period, the Tide finally pulled ahead as Barker and Zay Green combined for 25 first-half points as the Tide led by 6 at the half, 42-36. Alabama then pulled away on the second half, dominating Columbus State 53-26 over the final 20 minutes of play as the Tide rolled big in their exhibition matchup over the Cougars, 95-62. Sarah Ashley Barker led all scorers with a game-high 20 points. A great win for the Crimson Tide as they enter the season in the top 25 for the first time in 25 years.
A lot of excitement around this year's team, and you know what, Lillian? There was a lot of excitement out here at the Walk of Champions on Friday night as the Alabama women's basketball team held their first ever Hoops on the Loop.
Yeah, a lot of fun in front of Bryant Denny. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. While basketball is just starting their seasons, the Alabama soccer team has wrapped up their regular season.
Head coach Wes Hart and the Crimson Tide finished the regular season this past Sunday against Vanderbilt in Nashville. Crimson Tide got on the board first with a goal by, guess who? Gianna Paul, the assist from Kylie Kukan. That was Paul's 12th goal of the season.
But that would not be enough as the Commodores finished the game off scoring 3 unanswered goals as the tie fell in the regular season finale 3-1. Alabama finished the regular season 9-5 overall, including 5 ties. The Crimson Tide will take part in the SEC tournament beginning on Sunday in Pensacola, Florida.
The Alabama women's golf team wrapped up their fall season at the Landfall Tradition in Wilmington, North Carolina this past weekend. Alabama finished in 11th place with a 3-day total of 27 over par, 891. Ryan Flynn led the way for the Tide, finishing tied for 16th overall at 1 over par.
Stay with us. We'll have our plays and players of the week coming up next.
It is just as loud here at Coleman Coliseum tonight.
I thought the whole crowd was unbelievable. I wouldn't miss anything you could possibly be at this season because it's going to be a special season.
Alabama fans at Coleman Coliseum have been so good all year long.
What a scene at Coleman Coliseum.
Let's fill Coleman every time we get a chance to fill Coleman.
What an electric crowd here.
Let's just support this team because it's not that often that you get to put a team of this caliber together.
Could this be an opportunity? Gianna Paul. Paul puts it home!
Down the boundary has Williams. It is caught. Breaks the tackle. He will score. Snap goes to Jalen. Looking downfield. Got a man. Bernard, catch me. Touchdown, Alabama. Deep downfield. Safety is there. Jackson intercepts it. The clock has hit 0. Jackson slides down. And for the love, let's get out of here.
Bimbis connecting. Sawan puts it home. Skorka right side. There's Paul. And she will not be denied this time.
Down the left side. It's going to be picked off. Bray Hubbard with the interception. Justice lowers his hand. Runs over a man. 15, 10-5. Touchdown, Alabama.
Holloway to the basket and he's fouled. Sears, nice move.
Wow.
Dumps it off. Amore. The 3-1 on ball for Holloway. The tip though. And an ace. An upset on rivalry night for Alabama's first ranked win in 8 years.
Those are our ATI plays of the month for the month of October.
Now let's take a look at some of our players of the month for the month of October, brought to you by Legacy of Hope. Cross country's Doris Lemangole was named SEC Women's Runner of the Week twice this month as she picked up first place finishes at the Sean Earl Lakefront Invitational and the Crimson Classic.
And soccer's Gianna Paul netted 3 goals this month, including the game winner in what turned out to be a 1-0 win over Texas A&M. Paul is tied for first in the SEC and 14th nationally with 12 goals on the year. So congratulations to our players of the month for October, again brought to you by Legacy of Hope.
A great week with homecoming, Roger, and a great time for a bye week before that big matchup against LSU for the Alabama football team.
It's going to be a great matchup in Red Stick. We'll have more on that coming up on next week's show, along with the start of basketball season and much more.
Hope to see you back here next week, everyone. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
This has been a presentation from Learfield.